Hey, welcome to today's podcast where we're talking about how to visualize yourself thin. So, when you want to lose weight, a lot of times people will think of it just as an external process, right? You're just going to eat less food, work out, you're going to lose weight and be thin. But I would suggest that really a much more effective way to lose weight and ultimately master your weight and live as a thin person is to transform yourself from the inside out so that before you even change any of the external behaviors of eating differently or exercising, you start changing how you think. And one of the most effective ways to change how you think about yourself, especially when it's a new way, right, of thinking, is to practice visualization. And I want to talk about some specific ways to do that because it is one of the most powerful ways to practice being the person you want to be. Because I have a belief that your weight is really a physical projection of your mental self. That if you've been overweight for a while, it's because you think of yourself, you see yourself as an overweight person. And so it's not as easy as just changing your behaviors and losing the weight. You really need to change the way that you think and see yourself on the inside. And once you do that, again, it's a process of practicing being this version of you. The beauty of visualization and mental programming, we're going down a little bit more onto the visualizing part of it, is that you literally, by imagining yourself as the person you want to be, you start to create the neural connections of being that person. So it is very much like when you go to the gym and you lift weights, you're literally building muscle, right? And so this is a process where you're building, if you metaphorically, the mental muscle of being the person you want to be. And so it's this inside out approach. And the best part of it is that it's fun. It feels good. And one of the benefits of this is that not only does it create those neural connections and build up that mental muscle being the person you want to be, but it also reframes the process so that you start to think of it as a much more pleasurable experience. Because the more you connect to the person you want to be, tap into that body, into that reality of being that person, you start to connect to the pleasure that's awaiting you. And that gives the whole process a whole different kind of oomph to it, a whole different engine driving the process. So, okay, so how do we do that? First thing about visualization is that you don't in your mind have to crystal clear see what you're imagining. Okay, that's the thing. A lot of people feel like they're doing it wrong because they're not seeing an actual image in their mind as if they were watching TV. Totally fine. Okay. And that's why I want to talk about adding more onto it than visualization. In the Program Yourself Thin course, we like to talk about kind of three-dimensional visualization. We're not just visualizing. We're going to visualize, we're going to imagine what we're going to see. That's one part of it. But we're also going to imagine what we're going to say to ourselves, what we're going to hear. So there's an auditory component to it. You kind of think of like a movie. A movie is visual and auditory, right? And when you watch a movie, there's a visual and auditory that you're watching and you're hearing that, and it creates a feeling in you. And so that's the third piece we want to add into the visualization. We want to see ourselves, we want to hear ourselves, and we want to feel how it's going to be in that body. That's one of the most important pieces. And so it's not just about clearly seeing something, it's about imagining what it's going to feel like. And so you don't have to crystal clear see it. We just want to have a sense of what we're going to see in that situation. Okay, so how do you do that? And again, I suggest you, by the way, just before I bring you through it, I think it's important that you also realize this is a process of practicing. You don't just do it once and it changes everything. It's much more like brushing your teeth, and it's about consistency. And so in Program Yourself Thin, we really build this into a 2-minute process. I'm going to give you kind of the ballpark feeling. We do a redo technique and a rehearsal technique. I'm going to take you through what we call the rehearsal technique, kind of lightly here so you can experience some of it. But it's really just let your imagination go. Even if you're far away from your goal weight, that's okay. I just want you to connect to and imagine what it's going to kind of look like, sound like, and most importantly, feel like to be in that body. And the more you allow yourself to go with it, the more powerful it becomes. Okay. So what I want you to do first is relax, right? That's the key part of this is we can't visualize if we're tense and stressed. So the first thing we do is relax, activate that parasympathetic nervous system by checking your posture, right? Because if we're slouched, we can't really relax. So check your posture, align it, relax the muscles in your stomach, your chest, your shoulders, and your face. and begin to take some deeper breaths, exhaling all the air out of your body and allowing yourself to breathe comfortably in a more deeper way. You don't have to take really deep breaths, but just deeper. And center yourself, bring yourself into the present moment. Now, what I want you to do, ideally, is to close your eyes, because when you close your eyes, you free up a lot of mental energy. Most of your brain's dedicated to visual stimuli. So when you close those eyes, you free up a lot of mental energy. And what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that it's tomorrow morning and you're lying in bed before you've even opened your eyes, and you're in your dream body. You're at your goal weight. And I want you to notice, even just lying in bed, how you imagine that feeling before you even open your eyes. So you could feel your body on the outside with your hands. You could feel your body from the inside, how that feels. Maybe it's easier to breathe. Maybe it already feels different just being in that body. But I want you to imagine what it would feel like to be lying there and to be connected to that body. Again, we're focusing on the feeling of it at this point. Now I want you to imagine hopping out of bed in that body. And I want you to notice what it feels like to get dressed in the exact outfit you'd like to wear. And just imagine overnight, in addition to your body transforming, your wardrobe transformed, and you can put on the exact outfit you would like to wear at your goal weight in that body. I want you to imagine getting dressed in that body. And I want you to notice just the simple process of getting dressed, how it feels when you feel happy with your body, when you're happy with yourself, to get dressed in clothes that you're happy in how you look in them. Notice that feeling. A lot of times people tell me there's this feeling of ease, of freedom, of comfort. Connect into that. Now imagine moving through your morning, whatever you typically do, but in this body as this version of you. Do you walk taller? Do you feel lighter? Do you smile more? Do you feel happier? Connect into all those feelings. Notice which foods you start craving more in this body as this version of you who does feel lighter and happier, smiling more. And now imagine yourself moving through tomorrow, past lunch, into your day. Whatever you expect to have happen, experience it as this version of you. Notice how you speak, if you speak any differently. Notice how it feels to move in this body. Is it easier to move up and down stairs, get in and out of chairs, in and out of the car? Just simple things. How does it feel to be in this body, projected into tomorrow? Now imagine moving through the day, the conversations you'd have, hear them, hear your voice, hear the internal dialogue inside your mind. What are you saying to yourself? How does it feel to be in this body? And continue to move through the day. Whatever you expect to have happen tomorrow, imagine it happening, but you are at your goal weight in your dream body as this version of you. And I want you to play that all the way through to tomorrow night when you get back into bed. And there you go. So that's a quick kind of exploration of what it feels like to visualize. And notice it wasn't just about seeing yourself in that body. It's more about feeling yourself in that body. Right. So it's so important. It's really, in a way, we had not a visualization, but feelization. That's a word, because that's the more important piece of it. But also recognize that internal dialogue. And of course, the more you do this, the more you start to become aware of how you talk to yourself, of how it feels, of what you notice in the world and see. And you start to practice being this version of yourself. And the more you practice it, the easier it is to be this version. Because you may have noticed that when you imagine tomorrow and you imagine yourself as this version of yourself tomorrow, you may have noticed yourself making healthier food choices naturally and easily. You may have noticed how it felt to be free of the weight, to feel lighter, to feel more energized. Again, you're connecting to all the pleasure that awaits you. And so this turns this process from one of feeling deprived to one of feeling tremendous pleasure right from the start. Okay. So begin to use this, start to use this technique where you start to connect to who you want to be now and use that energy, that training, and that motivation to drive you to the goal body and the dream body that you want to live in. All right. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Aim is independent. I saw that. I just said that. How's it going? I like your lives. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad. You're right. I have a belief that being thin means being always deprived. Yep. Right. Very common. So again, with the Program Yourself Thin program, the foundation of the whole thing is kind of like what we just did. But like I said, it's self-hypnotic programming is the technique I came up with that we use. And It's just simple. You want to call it visualization, call it that. Call it hypnosis. They're all similar. But the big thing is that we do the redo technique to kind of review today and learn from any mistakes we made or to install a new behavior. And then we end it with the rehearsal technique, which is similar to what we just did. But what happens is you reframe the whole process. Losing weight is, as far as I can tell, losing weight and living at your goal weight as the person you want to be is the most pleasurable thing you can do in your entire life. And somehow it's been reframed as the most miserable thing, right? That's why no one wants to go on a diet or lose weight, because they think it sucks. If you do it the right way, it's the most pleasurable thing there is. And how do you do it the right way? Well, it depends how you think about it. Again, the number one thing controlling your weight is your mindset. And if you associate weight loss with feeling deprived, feeling like shit, you're not going to do it, right? And so somehow, again, the diet mindset has twisted the most pleasurable process you can have in life into the most miserable one, you see? And that's why so much of the work of really mastering your weight is mindset work. There's lifestyle and eating work as well, no doubt. But it's all, again, I always say that the 3 pillars of weight mastery, I make this shape of a pyramid: mindset, lifestyle, eating. And they're in order of importance, okay? The core foundation piece is your mindset, then the lifestyle, and then the eating strategies. And what most people just focus on is the eating strategies, okay? But the first thing you got to focus on and really nurture and develop is the mindset. You sitting here, if you're struggling with your weight, I'm almost guarantee that you have a mindset of a dieter and not of a thin person. And so that's the big shift you need to make. And you just experienced it. You just got to, when you imagine yourself thin, healthy, being the person you want to be in the body you want to live in, what happens is you start to train yourself to think like a thin, healthy person. You got to experience it firsthand, And so now it has more meaning. There's more juice to it. It's not just because a dieter is always thinking about how they're overweight and they don't want to be overweight. It's a whole process of not wanting to be things. I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to be an overeater. I don't want to be an emotional eater. I'm tired of feeling like shit. I'm tired of having no energy. I'm tired of feeling bad about myself. It's all about what you don't want. And your mind doesn't even understand that. It means nothing. You're creating a vacuum. You're always focused on what you don't want. And you're not spending enough time focused on what you do want. And then most importantly is connecting to that feeling. And the more you do, it's magical. I watch it every day in my program. Watch people do this. People have been struggling for 40 years with the diet bullshit. All of a sudden change their mind because they're using it appropriately. And it becomes this enjoyable process. Right? Imagine that. Imagine weight loss being enjoyable. Well, it can be, and not only that, not only the weight loss part. Here's that part's easy. The part that's really amazing is when you master your weight, when you maintain your weight in an enjoyable way. I sit here in front of you as someone who lost 50 pounds and now has maintained the same weight, one little blip about 12 years ago, the same weight for 30 years. And I love it. I love, love, love it. I love working on my mindset. I really love working on my lifestyle, and I love optimizing my eating strategies, So again, the secret is that I've turned this process not into weight loss, really. The main focus is it's about personal development. You need to take your weight loss and wrap it in personal development. You need to make this a process of becoming the best version of you possible. That's how you really walk this path forever. And so, yeah, my weight's important, but it's really secondary. It's way more about me being the person I want to be, on the inside out. So I don't, I want to look a certain way. That's a little bit of it, but it's primarily, I want to feel a certain way. I want to live a certain way. I want to be a person who's doing certain things. I always get these once in a while where I start almost choking to death. I don't know why it happens. You definitely changed my mindset about food and activity. Super. It's the pitfalls of talking all day. Sometimes the voice just goes. Michelle, how are you? I had an acid reflux a few days ago, so I'm putting off eating in the evening. Yeah, good idea. Again, that acid reflux, like when we overeat or we eat the wrong stuff or we eat so much we get acid reflux, those things are gifts. I really mean that, because it's been the bad decisions and the consequence of them that's been more impactful in me changing my behaviors than anything else. Okay. So when you screw up again, don't beat yourself up about it. Connect to it. Make it clear, when I eat that way, this is the consequence. This is what follows. And that's a powerful way to change your behaviors. So I think that that's smart. Laura says, thank you. Hey, thanks for sharing the live. Yeah, folks, if you're looking to burn a couple calories while you're watching this, the easiest way to do it, tappity tap that screen, get some hearts going, right? It helps me get some more people in here and lets me know that you're enjoying whatever's being talked about. And if you have any questions, feel free to write them in. How do I make the shift? Oh, wait, I missed a bunch of questions. I was half choking to death. Excuse me for that. I want to lose weight, but I don't want to tell my family, but I live and eat with them. They judge everything and interfere in everything. Okay, Isla, that is, yes, right. That is a common thing. It's such a weird thing, it's kind of counterintuitive that sometimes people love us and they care for us, but like when we start to lose weight, it becomes this weird thing. I always say it this way. It doesn't feel fair because you're doing all this. You want to change your eating, and that's hard to do. And then on top of it, you got to worry about what other people are going to say. But one way to look at it is like, when you start eating healthier and living healthier, it's almost like you're holding up a mirror to the people in your life, and they start to feel, bad about themselves a lot of times. And then they kind of take that out on you by not supporting you or trying to sabotage you in other ways. So yeah, I think it's not a bad idea boy, if I go back in time, one thing I would do is I would have just kept it more to myself, now it's hard to do. It's hard to do when you live with people, they see what you're doing, and, but yeah, what I would suggest, I always suggest this to everyone, unless you have a partner, people that you're actively doing it together. The less you talk about it, the better. And that's just an extra challenge you have, but again, we all got challenges. I had that challenge too. And it is a challenge, but we want to face our challenges. We don't want to ignore them. We don't want to pretend they're not there. We want to identify them, take them on, and so that's your challenge. That's one of the challenges. There's a lot of them. That's one of them. And so look for ways that you can navigate that situation. And it's going to take some trial and error. Okay. But when you do the right things, take note of that. When you do something that doesn't work, take note of that and try something different. Okay. But yeah, that's a common one. I feel like changing my identity to thinness is the hardest part. Yeah, you're right. It is the hardest part, and no one ever does this. You know what I mean? So again, like program yourself thin, like the entire approach is transforming yourself from the inside out into the thin, healthy person you want to be. Because what I have the experience of, I've done over 5,000 private weight loss sessions. I've been doing this for 20 years. And one thing you may or may not know about this, but what happens a lot of times is people lose the weight and then they put it back on. I say, so what's going on? Why did you do that? And they said, when I got to my goal weight, I didn't feel like myself. So it's important to understand that if you're overweight and you've been overweight for a while, you may not like it, but you're familiar with it. And your brain is a prediction machine. That's what it does. And so your subconscious mind likes the status quo because it helps it predict the future more effectively. So changing there's a lot going on there. And it's kind of counterintuitive, right? Because you say, oh, I'm going to do something better, so I should want to do it. Well, no, because subconsciously it just feels weird. All of a sudden, you know how to navigate the world as an overweight person. All of a sudden you're this thin person. It's a different identity and it's a different way to navigate the world. So that's a whole aspect, of transforming yourself. Again, realize what I'm talking about here is not weight loss. I'm talking about weight mastery. Most dieters just I just want to lose the weight. I think that's the bullshit goal, personally. I think what you really want is you want to return to your goal weight and live the rest of your life there on near autopilot. That's really what you want. And you never articulate your goal that way, which is why you never come up with strategies to achieve that. The best you get is you lose weight for a little while and then put it back on. And it's because all you think about is losing weight, So you need to shift your goal to getting to your goal weight and living there for the rest of your life on near autopilot. Upgrade your goal, and that'll automatically start to upgrade your strategies. Okay. How do I make the shift? Yeah. Okay. How do you make the shift? It's a combination. Again, in Program Yourself Thin, the cornerstone of the program is that 2-minute technique. And so every night you're using that, you're clarifying and connecting who you want to be, because you don't know who you want to be. You know what you don't want to be, but you don't know who you want to be in detail. I promise you, and it takes consistent work. Again, it's like if I'm going to play the guitar, right, which I do. And so it's like, it's a never ending process of evolution. and you living at your goal weight and being the person you want to be, same thing. It's a never ending process of evolution. Here I sit in front of you 30 years into this process, and I'm still growing and evolving and changing. That's the fun of it, though. But at first, because we all have this, the diets give you this bullshit idea that you just get to this point, you just lose the weight, and then what? Like, it's just like this idea like there's a finish line. It's so arbitrary, because great, you get to your goal weight. Now what? Because how many times have you all lost weight and then put it back on? Is there anything more discouraging than that? I mean, that's one of the most discouraging experiences in life, when you put all that effort and work and to lose the weight, and then you put it back on, sometimes even more, And if you really take a step back and look at it, why wouldn't you? You never are focusing on living as a thin person. You're only focused on, I just want to lose the weight. I don't give a shit what I got to do. I just want to lose the weight. And so you do unsustainable things to lose the weight. The game is, how can I live as a thin person? And it's a process. It's like learning a language, learning an instrument, learning a skill. You don't just do it, which again is another diet bullshit thing where, well, you're going to start day one being perfect, cutting 50, 60% of your calories, eating perfect, following some meal plan specifically. Fuck that. You're not going to stick with that on day one and just all the way to your goal weight forever. Like, it's so stupid. I don't blame you. You've been entranced. Talk about hypnosis. You've been entranced by the diet industry to think about weight loss. I don't want to say like an idiot. I don't want to be offensive, but it's really, it's goofy. It's goofy. What else in your life would you just start on day one being perfect with? And that's what you demand and expect. And if you don't get results in a week or 2 weeks, fuck this. I'm not doing this. It's not even, I can't lose any weight. You know what I mean? Like your time frames are really short. Again, I don't blame you. It's the diets have infected your thinking when it comes to weight loss. You can't even separate weight loss from dieting at this point. That's why I get out here. And this is my mission. This is real shit to me. My dad died of a heart attack at 54. So this is real life to me. I want to, this isn't just about you looking better in a bathing suit. I want you to live a long time, and I want you to have the best quality life possible. I want you to live as the best version of you. So I get out here and do all this stuff for free. I got a coaching program too, but this is a mission for me. I want to get out here and tell you this stuff because it's real serious. It's life or death. But what I want to tell you is that there is no just starting on Monday and all of a sudden you just lose the weight. It's a process. You should start today, and every day you get 1% better. You know what I mean? That's the game forever. Because your weight mastery, your weight loss, it's a never ending marathon. No, right? Because what do you think? Like, what do you think happens the day you get to your goal weight? What happens then? Like, what do you do? What do you do the next day? Because now, again, because what you're doing is you're only focused on the weight loss. And what happens is you trade the food for the weight loss, right? You trade the enjoyment of the food for the enjoyment of the scale going down. But then the scale stops going down. You get to that goal weight. Now you don't got the enjoyment of the weight or the enjoyment of the food. Now you're fucked. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Did I get nothing to look for? I don't know. And you just put the weight back on, because all you think about is losing weight on a very specific, like literal level. Like all you do is want to lose weight. So then you finish losing the weight and you're like, what now? Tell me that's not the sit. If you can remember when you've lost weight, tell me that's not it. Because I talk to people all the time that are right close to their goal weight, and you think they'd be over the moon. They're not. They're freaking out because they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how to maintain. Because all you know is being overweight and losing weight. That's the dieter mindset. You just keep flip-flopping between losing weight, being overweight, losing weight, being overweight. Where does the being a thin, healthy person come in? When do you practice that? Because I always ask people, they're losing the weight. I said, what are you going to do when you lose the weight? Jim, who gives a shit? I'll figure it out then. Mr. Buzzkill, get out of here. They don't want to talk about that. But how many times have you lost the weight and put it back on? So, I mean, when the fuck are you going to start thinking about it? It's like at some point you got to start planning for that. I mean, this is the core of your mindset problem is right what I just said. My body has hit a Pluto stage. I'm going to say plateau. I'm not eating, but I'm not losing any weight. Please help. Okay. Plateau stages should be treated as maintenance practice. Okay. Because again, at some point you get to a stage where you stop losing weight, so when you hit a plateau, just calm down, live there for a couple weeks. What's the fucking rush, man? You know what I mean? Like, you've got to let that go with the rush. The diets that put this into you, that I just want to lose weight, I just want to lose the weight. And you get so obsessed with just losing the weight that you get crazy. So you hit a plateau. You don't know if your body just needs to readjust and it'll start losing again, or maybe you need to change up your strategy, but you're not going to know. Oh, thanks for the rose. You're not going to know unless you stabilize and just stay hold steady for a couple weeks, see what happens. And if you can't hold steady for a couple weeks without losing weight, then you're fucked. What are you going to do when you get to your final goal weight? Like if you hate dieting and you hate living that way to lose weight, why even do it? Because what's going to happen when you lose the weight? You're not going to be able to maintain it, you know? So again, everything we do in Program Yourself Thin is built for long-term. Like if you're going to do some strategy, like eating strategy, lifestyle strategy, if you're going to do something to help you master your weight and you think about it and you're like, oh God, I'll do it for a couple of weeks, but I'm not gonna be able to sustain that. Then I say, don't do it. Don't do it. It makes no sense. Do things that are built for the long-term success. The way I eat and live right now, and I've done this for 30 years, I'm like, what are things I can do till I'm 150? And so for me, I didn't like exercise. I didn't like working out. So my strategy is I'm going to focus on my eating because I'll be able to master my eating and I'll be able to master my eating for my whole life. Working out, it was hard for me to get myself to do it and all the rest of it. So it's like, I'm not going to build my success around that. I'm going to build around my strengths. My strengths, I can control my eating a lot easier than I can get myself to go work out all the time. So that was my focus, but everything's built for long-term success, long-term weight mastery, not weight loss. All right. What is something you still struggle with at this point in your journey? Oh, that's a good question. What do I struggle with? I think the most recent thing that I kind of overcame is eating too much at dinner. That was the first thing I wanted to deal with was eating after dinner, and so one of the strategies I used to not eat after dinner was to eat more at dinner. Right now, again, you say, well, yeah, how are you going to lose weight that way? Well, I just wanted to get to the point where I didn't eat it at night after dinner. So I didn't give a shit about the weight loss at first because I had a long-term focus. And so I just want to know what it's like to go through a night without eating after dinner. Like, what's that even feel like? I just want to get one night. And so if I eat a bunch of dinner, I don't give a shit because I just want to set myself up to get through a night without eating. And it felt that hard at that time. And so anyways, eating too much at dinner was an ongoing thing for really almost like 27 years. And so how did I solve that? Now, this is the beauty of staying on a path. Now, again, I would somewhat regularly overeat at dinner. Now I changed other things that were easier for me, but that was a struggle. And I fixed it by, again, when you do things long-term, solutions kind of appear to you. And I read this book, How Not to Die, which is a great book. And it was all about nutrient density and variety. I started eating salads at lunch as opposed to what I was eating. And even though it was less calories, there was a ton of fiber in it. And all of a sudden, for the first time in my life, I wasn't hungry in the afternoon and I went into dinner not feeling hungry. And so that automatically and naturally helped me to eat better at dinner, So again, you have to understand that this is a process of evolution, of discovery. You think like you just here's the eating plan and you're just going to follow it to the letter. It's not that way. So that's an eating struggle that I kind of just overcame. What's a struggle now? I don't really have any struggles. My eating is it's kind of right on track, So usually it's more lifestyle things. And I wouldn't say there's struggles so much. But I will say like getting myself to exercise more. That's kind of the focus now for me. And it's not really a weight loss thing. It's more of a quality of life thing moving forward. I need to focus on strength. I want to be strong and active and fit as I get older. And so I haven't had to really rely and work on resistance training. But now I do, and so that I don't like to use the word struggle, but that's really where my focus is at finding solutions and implementing those. Michelle says, I want to lose 7 stone before Christmas. Is that possible? 7 stone. I forget that one. I forget how many pounds that is. Let me know, Michelle. But I don't like that type of goal. I'll tell you that, again, let me put it this way. With weight loss, with diets, you've been fixated to focus on the outcome. You just think about weight loss and you don't give a shit how you do it. And so in Program Yourself Thin, we're really fixated on the process. Let me put it in a different phrase for you. If I said, I'll give you $1 million right now, or I'll give you a machine that prints up money forever, which would you want? Well, you want the machine, right? Because that's always going to give you the money you need. So instead of thinking and focusing on weight loss, I want you to focus on the process of mastering your weight. I hope that makes sense. Like I am a master. You take my brain and put it in anyone's body, we're losing weight because I have strategy upon strategy, belief upon belief, paradigm upon paradigm of how to master my weight. I mean, up and down, mindset, lifestyle, eating. Okay. And so I don't give a shit because what are you going to do? What if you don't lose 7 stone by Christmas? What if I say you can only lose 4 stone by Christmas? No, then forget it. You know what I mean? Like there's a saying that people overestimate how much weight they can lose in a month and underestimate how much weight they can lose in a year. And that's a dieter mindset in a nutshell. You know, you're so obsessed with short-term results that you're missing the big picture. How long have you been obsessed with short-term results? You know, usually I talk to people, it's been 10, 20, 30, 40 years of trying to lose weight. And when you really look at it, it's 10, 20, 30, 40 years of trying to lose weight quickly and not just taking a step back and just doing the work. You know, instead of just like someone giving you a meal plan, say, okay, eat this way. In my program, you get blueprints. There's a mindset, lifestyle, and eating blueprint, fill in the blank that you fill out. You got to customize it to you, your lifestyle, your preferences, who you are as a person. You know, this idea that someone's going to give you a meal plan, you're going to follow it is crazy. Would you let me just tell you how to eat? I mean, I tell you how to, like, what movies to watch, what music to listen to, what clothes to wear. Like, you're going to let me just do this, but you're going to let someone just tell you how to eat? Like, it's weird, you know? And that's why it doesn't work. You know, it's got to resonate with you. So you got to take the time to, like, how am I going to do it? You know, you got to come up with a one size fits one plan for you. You know, that's my plan. That's why I don't really go into like how do I eat? I don't really say how I eat because it's taken me 30 years to come up with how I eat. It's based on me, my lifestyle, my preferences, what I like to do, what satisfies me, what works for me. So if I just sit here and tell you what it is, it's like you trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Like you try and do it 2 days in, you're like, fuck this. I can't do that. I can't stick with this. It's boring. You know, well, great. That's mine. It's for me. You know what I mean? Like so you're trying to listen to the music I listen to, like, you know what I mean? It's weird, but that's what people are always doing the diets. Like, oh, here's your 30-day meal plan of 90 different meals each day. Like, you're not going to do that. Hey man, I always try to think to nourish my body, mind, and soul. And that has helped me. Yeah, that's great. That's a great way to think. I feel like changing my identity to thinness is the hardest part. Yep, absolutely. Whoops. Let me go back. I skipped a bunch of questions. I'm going to start moving through them quick. First saw you yesterday. My train of thought is changing already. Thank you. Yeah, super. That's the goal. That's what I'm looking to do. And that's my specialty is I work to help change your mindset. So even just watching my videos, watching my lives, again, I'm a hypnotist, neurolinguistic programming trainer by craft. That's what I do. And that's what I've been doing. So when you're even listening to this, I'm communicating to your subconscious mind partly. And so just listening to me doing nothing else will help you. How many calories burned for tapping screen? I don't know. I just tried to study that. I heard you could burn 100 calories an hour by tapping that screen. I don't know if it's true or not. What really woke me up about needing to lose weight was I couldn't even stand without my back hurting. Yeah. Okay. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Losing 100 pounds. There you go. Someone's burning calories. I see those hearts. So, yeah, but that's okay. You know, like there's negative effects and consequences of the weight, and you've got to tap into them because we live in a society that's always conditioning us to minimize the effects of the weight, the shitty food we're eating, the shitty lifestyle. And so you have to think of it like we're in 1950s where cigarettes were considered fine. You know, we didn't really associate them with lung cancer and all sorts of horrible things that they cause. And that was intentional. And so it says we're in the exact same spot with the food. There's so much money being made off of you being overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy that there's a lot of money kind of put you in a trance to minimize what's going on here. So yeah, it's important that you clarify what are the effects. Oh, my back's hurting. It's because of this weight, and the weight's because of these foods. This food I thought was really pleasurable is actually making my back hurt. You see what I mean? You have to make those connections. That's a huge part. Again, to program yourself thin, that's a huge part of it. Very powerful strategy. Evening, Haley. Yep. Loved it. Long-term thinking that really makes sense. Yeah, super. That's the biggest thing of all. Again, you want to go from weight loss to weight mastery, and the difference being the time frames that you think in. You know, the longer you think in time frame, you just set yourself up for success. Because what happens, the outermost ring, your mindset's kind of like a nesting doll. Okay. And one of the most outer boundaries of that mindset of a dieter is I'm going to do this until I lose the weight. Short term, you know, it's a temporary. And then right inside of that is that, well, shit, if it's going to be just temporary, I'm going to do this till I lose the weight. I want to do it as quick as possible. I want to get it over with, you know? So we got to get out of that mindset, because I'm telling you, as someone who's been at the same weight for 30 years, that the work doesn't stop once you get to your goal weight. You know what I mean? You have to recognize that. And if that feels like a punch in the gut, tough shit. I mean, you gotta, it's true. You know what I mean? Nothing magical happens when you get to your goal weight. Oh, look at that thing. Nothing magical happens when you get to your goal weight in terms of like your behavior. It's not like all of a sudden you just never eat shitty again. You have to understand that, you know, it's a never ending path you walk, you know, and it takes discipline, you know, but here's the thing. Let me point this out, not to freak you out, is that program yourself thin is all about the subconscious mind. And so the subconscious mind is really the part of your mind that handles your habitual thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. So let's use an example. You're toothbrushing. Okay. You brush your teeth pretty much on autopilot, right? You just do it. You wake up, you just kind of in a half asleep, walk over and brush your teeth. You're getting ready to go to bed. You walk to the bed, brush your teeth first, And so that's a habit that you've installed into your subconscious mind. Now you just do it on autopilot. You're consciously somewhat aware. You're tending to it a little bit, but it's primarily automated. So that is how we master our weight and program yourself thin. It's all about creating automated behaviors, because dieting is 100% conscious. You're trying to make conscious decisions all the time, each and every decision. And your brain's not built for that. We're built to be on autopilot, So we're really, in program yourself thin, it's really a process of programming your subconscious mind to do the things that keep you at your goal weight. Again, the mindset, lifestyle, and eating. So a lot of the ways that I think, that I've developed and installed, the lifestyle that I lead, that I've installed a lot of those behaviors, and the eating routines, I've installed them into my subconscious mind so that they run a lot. The close thing I can relate it to you that you don't understand is like your toothbrushing, but I just have lots of those, And so, yeah, I'm aware of what I'm doing, but it's mostly on autopilot. And that's how I'm able to maintain my weight, relatively easy. Okay. Long-term thing, and that's the same thing. Same. I don't like working out. You don't have to work out to lose weight, just so you know. And working out's a double-edged sword, understand that. Where working out's okay for good, there's good stuff about exercising and working out. I'm not saying don't do it, but for weight loss, it's a double-edged sword because it makes you hungrier. And there's a thing called the licensing effect. And you got to be careful of that because it's this idea that, well, I did something good. And so in your mind, you're like, oh, I burned 500 calories. I deserve to have a little treat. It's 200 calories. So I'm still up 300 calories. When in reality, you burn 200 calories and thinking it was 500 calories. So it's a cognitive bias. I don't know if you know about those, but it literally, like, you don't even see it. You know what I mean? Like it entrances you almost, So yeah, you don't have to work out though. I'm worried I'm going to get flabby skin after losing weight. Any tips on how not to get that? Here's what I'd say, losing weight slowly is the first thing. Giving yourself some time, your body changes and evolves over time, and just facing it head on, deciding, am I more worried about flabby skin, or am I worried about the weight and all the effects it has on it? And just on a practical level, usually you got your clothes on, you know what I mean? So you're still gonna look and feel better most of the time, even if your skin does get a little saggy, but if you lose it slowly, drink water, give yourself time. A lot of times the skin firms up, so don't let that stop you. If that is an issue, again, look at it straight up and make your decision. Because a lot of times subconsciously we say, I don't want to lose weight because I don't want flabby skin. Okay. And so we got to look at that, say, I don't like flabby skin. I'm worried about that, but that's not enough to stop me from losing the weight. So, and then you have to focus on all the benefits you're going to get out of losing the weight. But take that challenge and that, because that's a subconscious incongruency. People have them all the time. Women have it all the time in terms of, I don't want to lose the weight because I don't want the attention from men. There's a lot of subconscious reasons. You weigh what you want to weigh subconsciously. I'll just leave it there. Have you ever suffered from binge eating disorder? No, I haven't. I have not. What happens if I can't visualize when listening to your hypnosis recordings? Okay. I was just saying that at the beginning, visualization. I don't like that word because it really just you have to see in your mind everything. If I asked you, if I said to you, what color is your car? Would you be able to answer me? And how did you come up with that answer? Right. So visualization and how you visualize things is not how we think of it. I went through the same thing. I thought I was going to, my mind see, like I was looking at a TV or a picture. It's not like that a lot of times. Maybe for some people it is, but for most people it's not. And so it's just this, again, the way that what color your car is, what color the house you grew up in was, what color your favorite sweatshirt is. You know what I mean? Like, how do you know that? Because you make an image in your mind. So you're not literally seeing it necessarily, there's a visual sense of it, but most importantly anyways, is it doesn't matter. The visual and the auditory pieces, it's the kinesthetics, it's the feelings of it. That's the key part of it. So if you're not able to visualize clearly when I'm talking on the hypnosis recordings, it doesn't matter. I want you to focus on the feelings you have. Relaxed, calm, feeling happy, feeling excited. Put yourself in that situation. Notice how it feels. That's the most important piece. 7 stone is 98 pounds. Yeah. 98 pounds by the end of the year. Again, I just, that's the wrong goal in my opinion. I would want to start working on building up routines, rituals, ways of being that bring me towards that. So if I could starve myself and lose 98 pounds by the end of the year, or start to develop real lifestyle mindset, eating changes in my behavior that felt good and that I was comfortable with, and I lost, 3 stone, I would take that every day because I'm not worried about the end of the year. I'm worried about where am I going to be next year. Okay. So ask yourself that question. Where am I next year? And so again, focus on the process, more than that and that result. That way of focusing on just losing weight by the end of the year is a path to misery because you'll lose the weight and you'll most likely just put it back on because you're going to do it in unsustainable ways. I'm just telling you what I see a lot of times. Thank you for this. You're awesome. First time in my life I've ever heard someone say these things. Thank you. And I know I am. I literally, I know that because I came up with this shit all on my own. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that because I'm obsessed with this. I've done over 5,000 private weight loss sessions. But I read 50 books a year. I'm all about this. I really am. And there was no one to just learn this from. I've learned from a million people. Okay. I don't want to say that, but when it comes to like, who is out there teaching you how to change your mindset in terms of weight loss? Who's out there? It's slim pickings. I mean, really, like I can't even think of anyone, there's very few people. And so I've been on the ground, helping people because everyone out there with weight loss, it's always like, okay, do this. Here's your workout. Here's your eating plan. Do this. They always tell it like they're giving you the plan and like telling you to do it. And they never show you how to get yourself to do it. And that's what I've been doing, working with real people that, week in and week out. And they come to me. I said, listen, you're paying me for when you feel like shit. You know what I mean? Like, so they come to me like, oh, that was a horrible week. I just feel like I quit. I want to give up. That's my specialty, is turning them around, and that's what I think is missing more than anything else. You know what to do to lose weight. If you were a robot, just typed in what you would eat all day to lose weight, no problem. The problem is you can't get yourself to do it consistently. And no one ever talks about this. It makes me crazy. So I'm glad that you're appreciating what I'm saying. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm just so unhappy and want the weight off. Michelle, I get that. But realize it's not about the weight. I promise you it's not about the weight. It's, what did I say? I remember asking this question. What would you do, right? If I give you 2 pills, right? One pill will make you wake up tomorrow 98 pounds lighter, but then it stops working. Okay. Or you get a pill where you lose, 1 stone every 2 months, right? But it lasts forever. And I just use this as a way to kind of in your mind, imagine it, that you're feeling happier is not just about the weight coming off. Please believe this, because I work with people all the time that have lost the weight and they're unhappy because they're feeling like they're not going to be able to maintain it. So the fast weight loss, you think that's going to make you happier, and it's not. I can't explain this enough, because you can't just be fixated on the outcome if the process is shit. I get people on all the time. What do you think about water fasting? Well, I think it's fucking stupid, because how long you need to water fast for? And what's worse than losing a bunch of weight and then putting it right back on? So again, it's about the process. What'll start to make you feel happier in a genuine way that you probably don't even realize what this feels like is to start making intelligent, systematic, strategic changes to your mindset, lifestyle, and eating behaviors that are sustainable. Let me give you an example. Pick your worst eating habit. Whatever your worst eating habit is that's showing up daily or a couple times a week at least, and put all of your energy into fixing that. And then there's the 3 R's of weight loss: reduce, replace, remove. Most people just focus on remove. You've got options. It's not a race. It's a never-ending marathon. Because how long do you want the weight off for, everyone? Right? Is it forever? Hit the screen if you want to lose it forever. If you just want to lose weight quick, I'll tell you how to do that. But if you want to lose the weight forever, hit that screen and let me know, because just losing weight quick, just starve yourself. It's simple. And then do that for a little while, then put the weight back on. But if you want to lose weight forever, you need to come up with strategies that are comfortable to you, that you can live with forever. And so you want to keep that weight off forever. You need strategies that you can live with forever. So you need to shift your mindset. But the beauty is, I always tell people this, the irony is, it's way easier to master your weight than to lose weight. Because think about it, when you're trying to lose weight, when you're trying to drop 100 pounds in the next 7 months, it's really hard. You got to do really extreme, intense things, right? To master your weight, we're not in a rush, because you want to live this way forever. I wish I had my graph I could show you. I always showed my training that I do, which reminds me, if you're watching this and you haven't done this, go to my bio and click the link there and get that hypnosis session. I give you a free hypnosis session. It's one specially designed to get you motivated. It's the new Thin Me is the name of it. And it'll help you really connect to what you want. And you don't have to visualize. I walk you through all the modalities so you really feel it. go get that. But as soon as you get that, it takes me a couple minutes to get it sent to you. There's a training that I put in front of you. 3 steps to master your weight. Watch it. Okay. Because mastering your weight is easier, because with the diets, you're trying to overcorrect and do everything perfect starting tomorrow, and you overwhelm yourself and you can't stick with it. Wake up, man. I know you don't look at it that way because you're entranced by the diets, but is that not every time you go on a diet? Like, that's why you can't get started on a diet, because you don't want to do it. Right. It's like you want to lose weight. You think about losing weight all the time, constantly. And yet you don't do the things to help you lose weight. Well, why? It's not rocket science. You're just not used to it from a different perspective. It's because you don't like the ways you know how to lose weight. You don't like dieting. You don't like doing all the dream shit to lose weight, right? I mean, that's my clients, like everyone that comes to me ultimately are people that they think about losing weight all the time, but they can't get themselves to start a plan. They're stuck. And it's because the only way they think about losing weight is diet based, So mastering your weight is, again, it's much more practical. I'm always, when my clients tell me like it's the most practical approach, or when people on here say it's the most practical advice, that is the stuff that really warms my heart, because like that's the world I'm in. Practical. Yeah, I could give you the perfect fucking plan. Oh yeah, just eat this. Stop eating carbs. Oh, okay. Stop eating for 16 hours a day and 2 days a week. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, great. And let's see how you're doing 2 weeks from now. Stop being seduced. I always, people say, oh, I don't know if I can be hypnotized. The fastest way to hypnotize a dieter? You want to know the dieter induction? You want to feel yourself going to a trance real quick? What do I mean by a trance? The simplest explanation and definition of a hypnotic trance is the bypassing of the critical faculty. Okay. You start going to imagination zone. So what's the fastest way for me to hypnotize you as a dieter? You want to know? Okay. Do you want to know how to lose 20 pounds in a week? I actually have a strategy. Do you want to know it? And now you're in a trance because you're like, oh, I believe it. Oh, how? Right? You get spiral eyes, right? Oh, 20 pounds in a week. Yeah. Please tell me. You stop eating and you don't drink water, and you take laxatives and you exercise a lot. There you go. What'd you think it was going to be? You know what I mean? Like, did you think, what is there? You know what I mean? But that suspension of belief, right? Is that's the hypnotic state, right? And I can put you in it just like that by saying, yeah, I want to lose 20 pounds. Because as much as you're like, no, that can't. Well, please tell me. And you want to know, but you've got to resist that. Because again, that's what the diets are always using on you. There is no, I mean, usually I haven't seen anything like this, but typically the fastest way to lose weight and the way to lose weight the longest are usually two totally different things, thanks for the rose, which isn't to say that you can't, sustainably lose weight relatively quick, but the way that you're thinking is just so extreme, it's not, but anyways, yeah, go click that link in my bio, get the hypnosis session and watch that training. It'll give you a new paradigm of how to master your weight. And I think you'll very quickly see that it's a much different approach than you ever consider or even have access to thinking about, and it could start to be the real first step in you changing how you think about weight, I listen to the videos, does nothing. I don't think I can be hypnotized. All right. Well, maybe I'm just not the hypnotist for you. How do I listen to the hypnotized video? I mean, you go the hypnosis sessions, click the link in my bio and go get it. That's an audio session. But I got a bunch of them on TikTok. You can get a bunch of them. All right. Thanks, HLK. And I have a YouTube channel too, and I put some up there, the longer ones. There's a nighttime one. Go listen to it. All right. My biggest problem is eating the same thing every day and then getting burnt out on it. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's got different variety requirements, so you just have to tweak it, that's one of my superpowers. I can eat the same shit every day, but I built around that. Some people need more variety. So you just add a little more variety, but you don't need unlimited variety. Okay. You probably need like 1 or 2 more things and then you're all set. Okay. So just find a couple more options, figure out what your variety requirements are and fill them. All right. Doctor, I'm 5'2" and the first 17, do you think I'm too overweight to exercise and get fit? 17 stone. I don't know. I'm blanking on what that means. She just said it. You're never, I don't want to say you're never too overweight to exercise, but you don't have to exercise to get fit and lose weight. Okay. You just need to change your reading. Yeah. You can exercise. There's always some exercise. Very true. I'm 40 pounds overweight for me. It's uncomfortable. It hurts just to do most things. Yep. Really feel like I'm the biggest person in the world. Yeah, people feel that way. And again, it's you're not, and that's the mindset thing. You know what I mean? Like that's what you got to work on. Any tips to firm a belly up after losing loads of weight? I don't. Again, just give it time and you know, let it be known. And remember that you're ultimately ultimately you're going to feel better anyways. Okay. Don't let that stop you. Would the weight loss mastery of the thin person mindset help with binge eating? Yeah, absolutely. The binge eating stuff, the binge eating disorder stuff and a lot of the eating disorder things, a lot of times where people are struggling being overweight and people are struggling with eating disorders, come into a similar place is that they're all fixated on the scale and the number on the scale. And the solution to that is to really focus not on a number on a scale, but being the best version of yourself. You've got to wrap your weight loss, your health, and being the best version of yourself and personal development. And so as you start thinking, who's the best version of me? That's the starting point. And in terms of binge eating, the two big things I see that trigger binge eating, one is restricting calories way too much and you get yourself starving and then you can't control the eating, and emotional reasons. You have no other strategies to deal with emotions other than the food, And so again, yeah, and program yourself in, there's a whole module on emotional eating, because that's probably one of the main strategies you have to deal with emotions is to eat. And so you need genuine ways to deal with that. And then obviously structuring your eating is the piece on, in terms of the eating part. I'm autistic and have a hard time visualizing. Okay. Again, tap into the feelings of it is kind of the thing. And there's a longer explanation, but I can't go into it yet. Yes, help me stop. Oh, Jill, what's up? Jill, I'm thinking of you. I got a little bit of stuff I had to resolve before I send you some information on. So I'm thinking about you, Jill. Jill is in the program. She's killing it. Maintaining a big loss is the hardest. Food consumes me every day. How do you break this? Yeah, Frida, I get that. Again, you've got to take all that. See what the big, again, another dieting thing is, and this is, listen, most diets that you know about are owned by big food companies. Okay. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. The company that owns Atkins Food Products, the same company owns Onions, Pretzels, and Cinnabon. The company owns Slim Fast, the same company owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. These companies don't want you to lose weight. They're wolves in sheep's clothing, and they put themselves out there as trying to help you lose weight. But what they're doing is they're fixating you on food. And so you can't be fixated on food. And that's what most people are fixated on when they're trying to lose weight. Big mistake. Your subconscious mind can't understand negatives. If I tell you not to think about something that I'm about to say, get yourself ready. Okay. Don't think about a banana. Did it work? Tap the screen if you're thinking about a banana right now, right? Even though I told you not to think about it, right? So it's like, it's important for you to understand that your subconscious mind understand negatives. And what you're trying to do is, I don't want to eat sweets. I don't want to eat sugar. I don't want to eat carbs. I don't want to eat pizza. I don't want to eat chips. I don't want to eat ice cream. And you're literally subconsciously focusing yourself on the exact thing that you're trying to stop. So this is one of the big reasons why you're obsessed with food. So in Program Yourself Thin, we're really fixated on mindset work, mainly lifestyle, big lifestyle piece, and then the eating stuff. But you need to take all that mental energy and focus it on something. Right now, what you're doing is you're trying to not focus on bananas. You get what I mean? And so that's a big part of that. What would you say is the best exercise? I've got depression and have been in bed for months. How can I build myself up? I've not exercised in such a long time. Again, I mean, the exercising, just start where you're at. Anything that's, if you're starting from zero, anything's an improvement. So, I mean, lifting your leg up in the air if you're in bed, moving your shoulders back and forth. I mean, literally it could be anything. But what big thing in Program Yourself Thin, we have a big saying, consistency over intensity. Okay. So don't worry about the intensity stuff. Focus on exercises you can do consistently. Something that makes you're something more than you've done, but not too much that you're going to burn yourself out. Okay. That's a good way to start off with. Yeah, walking's always good. Thank you. My belly has got so big and so it hurts to walk. It pulls on my back. Yep. I live in England. All right. I got a bunch of clients that live in England. Jill's in England. Just a little by little, walking is the best and healthiest exercise you can do. Yeah, I agree with that. I love walking. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the help and support. Nice. Yep. Thank you so much. As the doctor here every week. I'm not a doctor, by the way. I just want to make that clear. I guess I'm a mind doctor. I don't know. I can't say I'm a doctor. Please tell us one beginner strategy. One beginner strategy. Okay. Is you pick your worst eating habit, whatever your worst eating habit is. It might be snacking at night, overeating at dinner, eating candy in the afternoon, whatever your worst eating habit is that shows up multiple times a week. Go to work on that. And you can reduce, replace, remove it. Okay. You've got options. If you try one and it doesn't work, try a different one. If that doesn't work, try the third one. If none of them work, go back and try something else with each one of them. Okay. But go to work on your worst habit, right? What you're trying to do is fix everything all at once. It's overwhelming. Get to work on your worst habit and find strategies that comfortably help you deal with it. That would be my beginner move that I would suggest. What about childhood trauma? Can that impact weight loss? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Trauma in any form. And if you've been overweight for a while, that's a trauma in of itself in most cases. And so, yeah, traumatized bodies are kind of stuck. And so, again, that's a big part of the program because, hypnosis is like meditation. So that helps you activate your parasympathetic nervous system as opposed to your, the big thing about trauma physically is an overactivation of your sympathetic nervous system, your fight, flight, or freeze response. And that state is very difficult to change your behaviors and eat properly. Okay. So yeah, it absolutely can affect that. How many hours sleep do you need a night? They always say, between 7 and 9, big thing about, oh, there's Vicky. Oh no, Vic, I didn't think you were here. And I did the bananas. What was I going to say? Sleeping, right? Just real quick with sleeping. One thing about sleeping is you want to define the difference between sleep opportunity and the actual sleep you get, because you can't control how much sleep you get, but you can control how much sleep opportunity you have. And so sleep opportunity is the amount of time you're in bed with the TV and the phones and all the shit turned off, ready to sleep. And that's what you want to focus on. And you want to give yourself, again, ideally, everyone has to start where they're at. Everyone's got different situations, but ideally you want to hit, somewhere in the 7 to 9 hour range. And even if you have trouble falling asleep, use that opportunity to relax, quiet your mind, quiet your body, and that'll lead you to sleep. And even if you're not falling asleep, don't get pissed off about it. Focus on the relaxing because that brings you towards sleep. All right. Sleep's a huge part of the program as well. I actually have a program called Sleep at Will. Hi, I sent you a message to say thank you. Nippy Zippy. I saw that. I'm going to write back to you. I saw that. Just forgive me. I'm a little bit delayed, but I'm going to get you back. I saw that because it was awesome. And you're welcome. Amazing advice. Is 10,000 steps a day enough? 10,000 steps a day is kind of an arbitrary number, so don't worry about that. I mean, I had my own 10,000 steps a goal last year. I want to get a month every day. I did it, so what, what's more important is just being consistent with it. So again, it's about improvement. You know what I mean? Like that, not these arbitrary numbers like, oh, now I'm at 10,000, everything's great. If your average steps, and people rarely measure stuff, steps are actually the one example. They're easy to measure all the time. But a lot of times people don't measure their things when they're not on plan. You know what I mean? And so if your average steps, is 3,000, 5,000 is enough. That's great. You know what I mean? So it's all about improvement, always improving. It's kind of the 1% better every day, because after 365 days, you're not 365% better because each day improves on the percentages before it. So it's exponential improvement. So if you can get yourself into the mindset of progress over perfection, that's what I would suggest to you. But certainly 10,000 steps is nice if that works for you. But if you're only able to get 8,000, that's great too. There's very little difference between those two. But just keep moving forward and improving in the way that matters. What do you think about calorie calculators? Are you talking about like the weight loss calculators or like counting calories or like the things that track the calories, like the Chronometer app? Or are you talking about like weight loss calculators? Which one are you talking about? Because I think everything's got its time and place. You know what I mean? And so, the thing I always say, the golden rule in Program Yourself Thin is there's no right or wrong. There's only what works for you. Okay. And so if calorie calculators help you and keep you motivated and keep you moving forward and help you get results, then great. Okay. Tracking calories, ones that calculate how many you need for weight loss. That's not the approach that I put out there and that I use, because I don't like doing that. That's not my brain. That doesn't work. I prefer a more intuitive approach where I like to stabilize and structure my eating so it's consistent. In the program, we do a 5-2 strategy, 5 days of clean eating, 2 days of pleasure eating. And we want to stabilize those, because once you stabilize your eating over a period of time, then you can see where your weight ends up, right? And now you can be strategic. You can look at your typical eating and you can start to optimize it and choose, where's the easiest play for me to cut some calories out? How can I optimize this in a strategic way? And so that's the way I like to go at it. Some people like to track calories. Again, I don't like that because that's a very conscious, focused way. It's unnatural, never in history have we tracked calories. You know what I mean? But again, if it works for you, you do it, and if it doesn't work for you, there's other ways. Okay. But all right, everyone, I gotta get out of here. But again, if you want to move forward with In my world, what I would suggest is go click that link in my bio, go get that hypnosis session and watch the training. Okay. And if you really want to get in my world, again, you can find out about my program at the end. You can always go to program yourself then, but I would suggest a little secret for you. Don't order it from the website. Okay. Go watch that training, opt in, get your hypnosis session, watch the training. It's about a half hour. At the end of that, I go through the program and I give you a 50% discount. Okay. And the program's awesome. Not gonna lie. We have coaching calls every week. I get to work with you one-on-one in the calls, and it's powerful. And you'll create a mindset, lifestyle, and eating blueprint. That you'll follow, and you'll use that 2-minute self-hypnotic programming technique to program it in. And the whole program is delivered through your phone. So every morning you start with a 5-minute hypnosis session. It's an 8-week program. You start with a 5-minute hypnosis session with a weight loss mantra in it. Every day it's a different one for 8 weeks. And then at night, you get a reminder to do your 2-minute technique to program yourself. And then there's a sleep gnosis session, which is a 10-minute session with a core weight loss mantra in it. And there's 2 versions of it. One with a count out, so you can listen to it earlier in the night and then go about your night. And one that doesn't have a count out, so you can listen to it as you fall asleep, and it'll help you sleep better. So again, it's a real weight loss cocoon, so if you're ready to make a real commitment to your weight mastery, that's the one. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your nice words. That really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. So have a great day, everyone. I appreciate all of you and have a great day. Bye.